Okay, mic is on. I know it's on. I'm not going to stream 10 minutes without it. I got to turn some settings back on the bot real quick. Somewhere. This is not the mod, is it? So today I'm going to work on, hopefully, a little bit of the dialogue system. Like right now I have the dialogue part of it working. I also want to add a little bit more structure to it so that I can tell it what profile picture to display next to the chat, to display it on the left or the right of the dialogue. And some actions like to trigger something to happen. And I think really what that will do is just set like a static variable that everything's just kind of watching, so they can do their own, like if it's this, then that's for me. I'm going to go do my animation or something like that. So one example is if somebody says something to one character and that triggers that character then to walk away. What I haven't wrapped my head around yet is, do I pause? How do I pause the dialogue until that character gets to its destination and then start that dialogue up, especially when the continuation of that dialogue depends on your character being over a certain spot that triggered the dialogue to start in the first place. I'm sure there are other ways I could trigger it, but so far that's the only way I have it, is a sign, like reading a sign. Why is that red? It is enabled. Why didn't it go? I'll work on it later. So I'll show you what I got so far. That has to stay. I also need to rename a scene. I spelled it wrong and didn't realize it. To me, it's kind of a big deal. Okay, so go here, read this, right? And then I can just walk away. And that's what I want. Like, I don't want you to get stuck, trapped in like a long ass dialogue and have to like wait until you get to the end. Also, hitting the interact button causes it to jump to the end of that current dialogue. So that too. So on here, kind of need a trigger. And that'll be a capsule collider. And that's going to be horizontal, not vertical. Kind of want it like this. I also think it'd be cool to have like something at the horse. That's a horse. Like pet the horse or whatever. And now I need my sign script. And then there's dialogue text. However, do I want it to be something other than a list of strings? Like my own class. And what I still call it lines, like. So let's say like a dialogue line. Do I just call it text? Okay. Then a public. So my thought is, what I'm thinking, sorry, is I have a string, and this is called like trigger. And then maybe if there is no text, it can still call the trigger, but not show a dialog box. Then do I make it wait for something else, like its own event to listen to? Like listen for. Force of habit, sorry guys. So dialogue text, should I call it set, like set trigger and wait trigger? Yeah. So that's the, I'll call it global trigger. To this string. If I do a summary, will I get that in Unity? Probably not, huh? I won't. But will I? Tooltip, is that's a thing, right? Properties int. have to keep track of two screens here. Sets the trigger to this, the global trigger, to this, if not empty. Waits for this trigger before, it waits for this global trigger, if not empty, before continuing. And then, of course, dialog to display. Should I, when it comes to the profile picture, should I create an enum to ensure that I spell it right? Or not? Probably not. Use the profile pic with this name. And then I think, did I make the environment is a prefab, but my canvas is not. Okay. That's kind of nice. I didn't know that you could click on that arrow right there to get to the prefab. Let's go to another scene real quick. And we'll start there. But real quick, rename this B, Buddha. And then that's the trailhead. This is Bargo Pass. I'll save that. This one says it goes to there. I copied and pasted instead of red. This one also goes there, doesn't it? Yep. And this one doesn't have the, let's go to this one. This one? Yeah, okay. That one's going to Borgo, that one's going to Borgo. Okay. So this is this. This has that. So there's the canvas, and I wonder if the canvas then shouldn't be attached to the environment. So I only have like one thing to drag and drop. Or does my template have, it does have the canvas, but if I make a change to it, like in which I'm about to, then I need that to be reflected everywhere else. So if I put it in the canvas, or I'm sorry, if I put the canvas in the environment, then that should mean, theoretically, okay, save that. And I was in the template. So if I go to the cemetery, oh, I'm in the cemetery, an area that didn't have the canvas, now it does. Perfect, I think. However, no, however, nothing, right? I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to run it. I'm going to go talk to this tombstone. Yeah. And that's all up in here now. Cool, cool, cool. That's kind of what I want. Back to the trailhead. Okay, there's that and that. And it wasn't visible right before I went to talk to the tombstone. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I need to add the talk image. Is that in the graveyard? Or there was like a user interface thing that I had created? Yeah. Okay, this is going to be a child of the carriage. Like that. And then in the carriage sign, let's move this up real quick. Move up. It's probably quicker to drag it. Okay, so the interact icon is this deal here, and I think my code automatically turns that off. At the beginning? Yeah, so I have to go up and, oh. That's a no-go for the whole thing. Oh. Yeah. The carriage's capsule needs to be a trigger, first of all. Let's move Van Helsing down a little bit to see if it starts. That should not be on at the beginning. Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking he'll start here anyways, and then you hit E, and we'll do a thing, but let's make the thing better first. So I have these as a dialogue line. So this is going to be a list of dialogue lines. Like that. And then in the sign, it needs to be a list of dialogue lines. Now in the dialogue though, I should have some errors. Yeah, okay. If you interact button is down, then text component dot text equals lines index dot text. Set all component text component dot text equals this dot text. That's and this is all animated like in a coroutine. Okay. So that's all quashed. Let's see what it looks like inside Unity though. So the carriage, it has the sign script. Oh, so I don't have that, which means not a whole lot. Is that what I need to do? Just on that and not the lists? Yeah, and I don't want to call it dialogue text anymore, right? In the sign, I just want to call it dialogue lines. Dialogue.lines equals dialogue lines. And then over here, we're good. So what, oh, cool. All right, so now I had the plus, I get this, and then I can have the text, and it's going to be, we have arrived. This is as far as I go. I didn't plan on text being bigger than the text box. So I may have to be very careful on how I structure this. And then I'll have a pick here, but I'll put it in here. So it's the, what do you call the driver of the carriage? Is he a coach driver? Driver. And there's no trigger and there's no wait for trigger. And then we're going to go on to the next dialogue. I don't know why you couldn't wait till morning. Like that. And then this one's going to be Mina. And she's going to say like Jonathan. How is Jonathan spelled in Dracula? Dracula characters, Jonathan. Jonathan. There's no H. Jonathan needs me by his side. I must hurry. Okay, and then the next one is not going to have any text, no face, but this is the trigger, like start Mina. And so I want her to move and then leave. I'm not going to control her with this, like the Mina class or script or whatever that's going to be on her will wait until this trigger is set and then move her And then when she reaches the exit, she'll disappear. I do have to make sure that the exit checks to make sure it's the player. Otherwise, overlapping that spot might send us to another scene. But anyways, she goes there, and then her going there will trigger the wait for, and that will be exit Mina. Or do I even need anything? Because there's nothing else they're going to say. The script has nothing like that. Okay, so she goes, she leaves. Also, this is another thing where this script needs to change, because once she leaves, and if I leave the coach area, the carriage area, and then I go back and talk again, I don't want the same script. So does the carriage have a script that monitors the global trigger as well? And when something happens, particularly, it replaces the sign, or it's not a sign script. I use, I'll make my own like carriage script. Yeah. And then I could have like dialogue 1, dialogue 2, and then depending on a condition, it displays a certain dialogue. That makes more sense. So let's add a script. I kind of hate it just being like right out here in the open. Like maybe it should go in a folder, like one-offs or something. Did I spell it right? Yes, I did. But for the most part, I'm going to take sign using static dialogue. Also, I'm taking note that it's just mono behavior. It doesn't inherit anything else. Yeah, I don't... Oh. I don't have a constructor. Is it to get the dialogue line? In order to get the dialogue, it needed that. The dialogue line. It's fine. So there's that. So I'm just going to quickly... Did I save it? Yeah. I'm going to remove the sign script. after adding carriage. Can I paste? Oh, it doesn't matter anyways. I'm going to change that variable. So let's do that first. Change that variable. This is dialog 1 lines, and then public list dialog 2 lines, like that. And then this is dialog 1 lines, just to solve that error for now. Otherwise, if I left that error there, going back into Unity, it wouldn't update the inspector. So paste the dialog lines there. Cool, cool. Then I can delete this. And I still need to, reapply that icon. And now I can do dialog 2. You shouldn't leave her. How do I want to say this? Like, you should probably go after her. It's dangerous to go alone. You should probably go after her. Okay, so in order for it to know which dialogue to use, I need a very, very public, savable variable. And I want to be very careful here not to pull a pirate software and have like a crap ton of different variables that mean nothing. But my thought is, flags, having something like this, right? And then like the first index, and I don't know how to control it or keep track of it yet. But it's gonna have to be like, enum. Sorry, enum. I have to declare it first. No. Maybe this, so then I can say, carriage is 0. Can I do const? I can, right? So that way I don't change it. So that way I know, because this says carriage, that this character right here is what I'm looking for. So in the carriage, when we go to talk, Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to need a private list dialog using lines like that. So all I do here, right, is just send the lines up to the dialog system. It is. Okay. So in here I can say if environment dot flags, and then in brackets environment flag location dot carriage is 0. No, that doesn't mean carriage is 0. This means the location in the string. If that the actual text. Why is it not giving me an issue there? Oh. Because it's a character. If that is 0. Using lines equals dialog lines 1, dialog 1 lines, okay. Else if environment dot flags environment dot flag location dot carriage equals 1. Using lines equals dialog 2 lines. Okay. Really, the only thing I can do to test right now is just to see if it's using that. And then I can change it manually to see if it switches. I don't know why you couldn't wait till morning. There's enough of that to fit on one line. I think if it's blank, oh, that's because the flag was there and the text is blank. I still need to deal with that. In the dialog, when we're moving to the next line, this does that. Text equals that. Start coroutine. Type line, which animates the text. Else game object dot set active is false. I don't want to set it to false. I want to hide the visibility. So like if text component. If lines index dot wait for trigger. I also need to do the set trigger, right? Set trigger doesn't equal this. If lines index dot wait for trigger isn't empty, I'm going to do a dot trim just to be on the safe side. Okay, we'll do this one first. Or no, we'll do this one first. This will be the easiest one. Gary Harden. Hi. Okay, thanks so much, bro. Sorry. What's up? I'm not going to pronounce the rest of that. I don't know if I'm going to say something I don't want to say on accident. I need a public static just call it trigger. Oh, it needs to be string duh. If you're still there, how you doing? There might be a little bit of lag between you typing and me reading. Okay, and then so here I can say environment dot trigger equals lines index set trigger. And then here I kind of need to wait for the pause here. Which could be like wait for trigger. What happens if I have a coroutine going and I kill the game, or I don't kill the game object, but I deactivate it? So, okay, so I'm going to have while true. I can't say true. Can I pass a variable to a coroutine? No, I know my trigger that I'm waiting for because it's in a variable too, isn't it? Public, does this need to be static? I think the whole dang thing needs to be static, the way I'm using it. Public static string, wait for trigger, like that. And then I can say, while an environment dot trigger doesn't equal wait for trigger. And then I'm not doing any of that. Wait 4 seconds. I'm just going to do every 1 second. Should be good, right? Do I kill the trigger? Like, wait for trigger equals nothing. Environment dot, I guess I don't need to worry about this variable, but this, I think I need to say like trigger equals nothing, like we're done waiting. What if I want to use the trigger to make multiple things go at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, so like if I had characters that are like 3 of them that are standing and something happens and that calls them, and I just want all 3 of them to set themselves in motion. Okay, I don't want to clear the trigger. Okay. Now, do we call next line? I do need here. But is it static? Okay, so what I'm thinking is, if this is not empty, then the user can input the interact button to skip to the next line. But if we're waiting for a trigger to happen before, like the animation to finish before the next line displays, then we can't skip past that by hitting the button. That's fine. However, what if you walk away and you go somewhere else and you try to use the interaction like dialogue, but wait for trigger, it's static and it's set to something. So maybe when you leave, it has to be set to nothing. Yeah. Whoop. So if it's empty, we can do this. This function is called when the object becomes enabled and active. I assume that happens every single time, right? We can find out. Like that. I do have to do if lines index dot text dot trim doesn't equal that, then I can do the coroutine for animating text, but then I have an else. And then this is I need to hide the canvas, but this is on the canvas, so maybe I hide the box. What is box? That's not cool. The dialog box has the box script. I'm sorry, the dialog box has the dialog script. Text component. Do I put it on the canvas instead? Nothing changes except dialog box where it says game object set active. This needs to be the dialog box. Text component. Text component dot game object. No. It needs to be the dialog box. So I need to add Where are those? In the dialogue script. I have text component and speed. Text component. Text speed. Oh, because these are statics. Okay. Public game object dialog panel. Is this not, this is used somewhere? Box equals game object. And then do I do anything with it? No. Trigger object. I do not use that as well. I'm going to comment these out and see what happened. Oop. And this. But I do need the dialog panel to be assigned. And the inspector here. The script was on the text, and now it's here. I do need to move it up to the canvas. So the canvas can set the dialog box to inactive and still remain active itself. Yeah. Okay, and then here, this is dialog box, dialog panel. And it is a game object. Set active false. And then down here, it changed it to dialog panel. Okay. Is there there's nothing that turns it back on? Those are both falses, right? Where'd it go? This. Does that mean this sign in the trigger script? Oh, God. That's going to need a... Guess what? That is why those are there. think that'll let me go through without any errors. Not quite exactly what I want yet, but right. So I think what I need to do, instead of having a dialog lines equals that, and then setting dialog.trigger object equals game object, like, why do you need to know that? Because this turns it off itself. And then this set active is true. So what I want to do here is in the dialog on enable, I think. Box dot set active true. Is that it? So in awake, this automatically gets assigned before this ever does. No. Is there an error? So the text component text.lines index 0. I want to test this, so I'm going to do a debug empty lines. And index should probably be reset as well. Argument out of range exception. I can do something else as well. Okay. Let's go to that line. Let's do a catch. Argument out of range exception ex. Do I have to try and catch anything else? Probably not. Debug.log. We'll do lines dot count lines index. So I'm gonna say make it look a little bit neater. Line count equals this, index equals index. So this won't show up anymore. Oh, parameter name index. It's not going to help me really solve the issue. It's just going to confirm that's the issue. Line count is 0, index is 0. Dialog lines equals using lines. Using lines is supposed to be that. So before I go with there, tbug.log sending, put a $sign up here. Using lines dot count lines. The variable dialog panel of dialog has not been assigned. Well, that solves everything. I should have read that error too. I'm sorry, what? The variable dialog panel of dialog has not been assigned. So if I go back to the scene, it sure is. So if I hit start, does that mean it's going to disappear? Stop. It says none. Empty lines. Okay. I didn't get that error, which is okay. Empty lines. On enable. What if I already have a start dialog? If lines count equals 0, otherwise it sets the index to 0. And then the method is called next line, right? To continue. Yeah. Okay, so what if I do that, and then in this start dialog, do that, Box set active is true. That should be here. Ah. If lines count is greater than 0. Where'd that come from? And so, honestly, this can do not set active equals true, but dialog.start. Oh, it's not static. Shit. Text component dot is that. So I need a public text mesh pro GUI. This is static. Underscore text component, and then underscore text component equals text component. And then from here on out, an object reference is required for the non-static field method or property dialog. It's not going to fix it, right? Non-static field method or property. I'm making it worse. So let's go back a couple steps. We'll think this through. Okay, so I still think I should have a public static void. Oh, hold on a second. Set lines. What's my class? Dialog line. Given lines. And then here I can say lines, oops. Lines equals given lines. Oh, shoot. Dang it. Okay, does that mean I have to do an instance? And then I say dialog.instance.setLines, do that, and then that happens. Dialog trigger object equals, and I don't even think I use trigger object in the entire dialog. However, do I use it again here? Yeah. So I set that, and then I can say dialog.instance.setLines using lines. Let's see what happens now. And I shouldn't get anything right up front until I go to the carriage. Did I get line count index 0? That was down here. But I didn't get empty lines. Is it because update is capturing the interact input before we're setting the lines? Dialog box active self is false. How about dialog box dot I think what I want instead of the box is the text component. Like that. And then text component, this one needs to be private, but a serialized field so I can access that in Unity. And then if dialog dot underscore text component dot active cell dot game object. When I walk away from it, I set the active to false, and I probably should not do that. I should probably have a method that I can call to hide it, like dialog box dot hide. Let's make this internal, because internal void hide. Oh, it's gonna be static. Like that. Is that bad? Oh, void. Okay. Box.setActive is true. This needs to be box. I'm sorry, underscore text component. Dot game object. You know, I'm going to make this a game object. Because honestly, that's all I'm using that for anyways. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting. It was like right on the tip of my tongue. My fingertips. Oh yeah, let's finish hide. And use is false. Is that static too? So that, okay, and then text component dot set active false. I think I can get a variable to the coroutine and kill those as well. Let me add a task. Kill coroutines as well. Oh, wait, I gotta put in to do. And that'll go there. Okay. All of that just to make, and more, just to make the dialog box universal across all scenes. Okay. That was still in here. If in use is false, stop. Return. Right? Like, we don't need to do anything. And when I set the lines, I want in use to be true. Should I set that here? Right, and then in hide, in use is false. When I exit the sign, has player equals false, interaction, blah, 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 dialog dot hide. Interaction dot set active, that's for that little icon thing. Okay. I have 2 errors. I have 0 errors. Nothing happens now. No errors. Maybe that's a better variable to use. Sending 4 lines to the dialog system, but as you can see, no dialogue. Getting closer though. Okay, so here, in set lines, I didn't get this. So let's add an else. debug.log. Oops. Given, let's say lines. How about just lines.count, lines received. So now it should say for lines received. I have 2 dialog scripts on the canvas. What's this plus sign mean? Oh. Does that mean, okay, that means it was added after the prefabs. Yeah. Could they have been fighting this whole time? Four lines received, still nothing there. That's fine. All right, so start dialog. Let's go there next. If lines.count is 0, return in use equals true, index, start coroutine. This guy. For each of those, do something. So here, I just want to make sure that debug.log lines.length count lines.count. I'm gonna say processing. So this will at least tell us that the coroutine, Cowboy Bob, how you doing? This will tell us that the coroutine is actually starting. And the thing is, maybe the only problem now is that it didn't enable. Yeah, it didn't enable the dialog box. Which is underscore text component dot active self equals true. Wait, what is set active? Yeah. I am working on I did have a very nice dialogue system going. Not like the one I was working on before, but just something more simple. Using a class. Dang it. What if I turn this on myself? It is there. Okay. And then I decided to make it a little bit more fancier, and I broke it. In update, I did a thing. Nope, that's fine. Text component set active true. Text active or set text component is that game object. Which is, oh, the text box. I need a dialog panel reference now. This is private now with serialized field. This is going to be an internal. It can be private as well. Static underscore dialog panel. And then, oh, I have to say game object. Dialog panel equals dialog panel. You're doing the MIG jam, but with so many days, it's going to be hard not to do too much. I thought about joining, like having a cell phone character with legs and like have little like USB thing sticking out of the ground, and you have to like walk over it and then sit on it and have his eyes go like, ooh. And like you have to wait and then time it just right so that you can get the most out of your charge but not get hit by things that are moving. Oh, I still need to reference that now. In where? In this. It's not text component set active. It is dialog panel set active is true. What's your thought? Your initial thoughts? At the same time though, like I'm just beginning this, and if I move on to a game jam, will I have the motivation to come back and work on this? Like I lose motivation so easily elsewhere. I got the box up here, but now I have this. Dialog panel set active true. That showed it, but then I got an error saying it was not set to an instance of an object. Line 132. Okay. It is a thing though. I kind of feel like that means there's I can do a thing, can't I? I don't want to do what it's in the canvas dialog script dialog box. Is that just because your name? And that's because of your name. So there isn't another dialog script ruining things for me. You've got a bunch done in the game, but no art yet. Oh, hold on. You have just a gun that recharges, and it's a Vampire Survivor style game. Very cool. Go for the replayability. Does that mean... It does mean there's... What? When I clicked on that, it highlighted carriage. But carriage doesn't have the dialogue script. So if I wait, if it's just because I don't have that, no. Game object dot name, lowercase g. That'll let me know if there's more than one. Canvas. Two references to start dialogue. This one and set lines. And where's the other? And start. So maybe that was the problem? Was I getting that error before I approached the... Oh my goodness. How did it even show itself? I don't know. I don't understand. When I was using the wrong variable. Oh, because I was using text component. And when I said it, did that automatically tell its parent to set itself to active? Okay, let me test all the functionality. Okay, I walk away and I do the hide, but it didn't hide the panel because I don't have a reference to the panel. This, yeah, exactly. That'll do. Your ramp barely dried off enough so that you could get a little skating in. Doesn't that hurt? Like do you have masonite on it, or is it just like plywood or something? It's supposed to be warm enough tomorrow that it's not going to be snowy, and I'm hoping that the bike trail is dry enough that I can go for a quick run after work. I'm thinking about bringing my running clothes with me. Okay. Right, and that's that. And then if I hit E, it goes on. Does that mean there was two coroutines going at the same time? No. Well, maybe. I got to do the link to the coroutines. I need to look up a variable. Unity kill coroutine. It's just a variable called coroutine. Okay. So public coroutine. This is going to be the dialogue coroutine. I'm going to have more. Because, get back to chat. It's plywood now. You have masonite you could use, but you don't. It doesn't last long. You're right, especially if it's going to be exposed to the elements. I need a translator. Oh, that's it. Yeah, it was just a different language file. That's all. And then start coroutine this. So I'm going to say dialogue coroutine equals that. And then I'm going to peek at this Google thing. I'll show you. Do I need to know if it's null? Is it going to cry? I got to go to hide. Yeah. I'm going to put this to make it say other. Not running. This is dialogue coroutine. It's static. Its stopper coroutine is not allowed to be in a static thing. You remade Pandemonium's dialogue system into Text Mesh Pro. That's what you've been using mostly when you need pop-up dialogue. I assume Pandemonium is a YouTuber? Maybe? I kind of need just a little bit more than just regular text. And I had that, like I said, when you first came in, it was working, but I trying to enhance it, and in the meantime, I'm breaking it. Object reference is required for the non-static field method property, blah, blah, blah. So can I say like, that was worth a shot. Cheating, isn't it? When I call set lines to start the dialogue, I kill any previous dialogue coroutines, and also, am I going to get an error here? Let's see. So my dialogue is more like I should probably change it to be something else, like whatever is in a play. You have lines, but you also have like exit stage right and all that garbage. Yeah, he does YouTube. You can't remember who recommended his video to begin with. Maybe Meg. Miguel does have a dialogue script that he uses like over and over, so maybe. Routine is null. If dialogue coroutine is not null, then kill it. I got like 10 minutes left. Okay, so what happened is I go here and I exit. There's still that previous coroutine, like hanging out. I'm gonna step back up and I'm gonna start it again. All right, and now it's normal text. I still don't have that right there though. When there is no text, I wanted to hide that. That's a next line, isn't it? Yes, right here. Right. This is, if the text is not empty, start the coroutine to animate the next line. Otherwise, we're going to hide it. And that is empty on purpose because that is the trigger and the carriage to start Mina walking towards the exit. And there's no dialogue after that anyways. I do kind of... I'm going to merge those two. I don't know why you couldn't wait until morning. Right, and then this is Mina's line. What is the difference in using string.is null or empty? To what I'm doing, nothing. When I'm saying the dot trim or whatever, doesn't equal nothing. It's never null because of the way. Oops. Yeah. I got this backwards. How'd I do that? Hold on one second. Set trigger. This is Mina. There isn't nothing. I just didn't use it. It's never null because in the definition of the variables declaration, they're always set to empty string anyways to begin with. So there couldn't never be null. Kind of what I want though, when this is over with, I kind of want him to be able to hit E again. like right now it's done, but I can't start it. I have to walk away and then come back. Also, I see that icon doesn't disappear, which it should. No, it's the same thing. What you're saying is cleaner, and I might change it, but I do that at work. I do the is null or empty. Okay, that. I think if it's not waiting for a trigger, when it reaches the end, okay, so this, I'm setting the dialog panel active to false. Oh, like it tells you then, like it'll say like something here that you should use. Interesting. Like, so that's what I would normally do. There's another string dot. Is null or white space. Is null or empty. Maybe that doesn't trim. Maybe it's null or white space trims. But because this is input that I can type in or delete or whatever in the inspector, there's a possibility that I would leave white space behind. So sometimes just to get rid of the dot, you comply. Very nice. This is, I've got the message that Visual Studio has an update for me. But this is the oldest, second to latest, right? This is 2019. Oh no, this is 2022. There's a newer one yet. I don't know if I have it, but it's available. I use it at work. There's a little Copilot icon on it. Okay, so when it ends, there's a thing. What tells the carriage when I hit the button, if interact icon down, or okay, yeah, and in use is false. So when I reach the end of the dialogue, all I got to do is say in use is false, and then that should allow me to fire up the conversation again. think me hitting E to end is being read by the dialogue system to close it. And then the carriage is immediately reading that to activate it. I need like an intermittent thing, like next update, set it to false. If dialog panel dot active is false, then in use equals false. So this is one of those, what is it called? Is it active self, isn't it? Like, why didn't, I don't understand, like, why did they have to depreciate active? If they made a better method, why not just replace active with a new active instead of creating a new active self? You know your way around VS Code better, but you don't mind using Visual Studio for stuff. Did you make the subscribe? I did not, but I do plan on making my own. There we go. That is the intended outcome. I kept staring at that dang word. I'm like, it looks wrong. It looks wrong. It looks wrong. My dyslexia is like, nope, it's right. I-N-G, not I-G-N. Oh, I gotta fix it outside of. I kind of wanted it to coincide with Nightbot when it says follow me on Twitter, but I don't have any way to know yet how to read chat in YouTube to like when Nightbot says that, like watch it for it, and when that happens, then set the thing. Like for like the animation for follow me on Twitter and like and subscribe and all that. But I do plan on making my own that comes out with and rotates like socials and stuff. A Discord invite, Twitch, or I'm sorry, Twitter, YouTube, because this will also be streaming. I'm also streaming on another platform, which is a dead platform, to be honest. Okay. The other thing is I want to hide. Can I get there to happen from the behind? I can't get down that far, can I? I can't. I want to hide this when that speech is going on. And that's the carriage is responsible for that. Start, it's false. When you walk up to it, So I'm going to say like if dialogue about it, I need to see if dialogue dot, hold on, I'll just scroll down and steal it. Trigger object. So if that and dialogue dot is active in use, then this guy, we're gonna hide it. Else, if either two things is true, hold on, I need to say like if dialogue dot doesn't equal game object, and oh, if it does equal game object, sorry. So if it knows that we're the one standing there, but dialogue dot in use is false, then we're going to show the thing. My 10 minutes is well surpassed. Okay, yeah, so I can see that it's disappeared. Guess it's easier to go over here. I think I should add shift to run. Cool. I'm going to real quick make Nina go over here, up here, and then disappear. It's not going to be that easy. I was like thinking through all the things I need to do. I need to make a Nina script, but this is not regular Nina. Like this needs to be like intro Nina, because there's going to be another instance of her in the next scene up. When you go up, you see her, but then she walks immediately like off to the next area, and then you've got to go beat skeletons and then try and chase her, kind of thing. So that Nina script isn't going to be the same as the Mina script that's here. I've been saying Mina, it's Mina with an M. So I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to call it Mina, and all the Minas will go in here. So this will be Borgo Trailhead Mina. I can't drag and drop it until that's done. Do I want to give Mina a rigid body to move, or should I just move transform? Let's move the transform. Okay. let's go here. Let's add 2 paths. Or 2 nodes, sorry. Mina path 1. And Mina path 2. Might not stream tomorrow if my computer actually shows up. I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to, though. But if it shows up, then I'll be setting it all up, getting Unity installed and on my apps. Okay, then Mina script needs, yeah, that's just a video that plays. And I had to use a plugin. I had to install VLC Media Player. I used to have it, and then I didn't need it anymore because I didn't watch like DVDs or whatever. But if you install it, VLC Media Player, OBS will automatically get the ability to play videos. I don't know why it's not showing up there, but it's the thing with the traffic cone. That thing. That'll give OBS the ability to play a video, and you just set that as the source. There's something else to it, isn't there? It's a browser source, sorry. And my browser source runs, is just a page that has a JavaScript that waits for like 5 minutes or something like that, 15 minutes maybe? 5 minutes? Maybe that's too quick. And shows that in a loop. Okay, so in update, I need to be looking for if environment dot trigger equals, right? And then I have is it exit Mina? It's in the dialog script. Start Mina. I'm going to say exit. So if it equals that, the first thing I'm going to do is set environment dot trigger to nothing, so I don't execute this again. And then I need two transforms. Path 1 and then path 2. Okay, so let's go up here using system, and then I can have an action state. And am I allowed to assign it to something here? Maybe not, but okay, so I'm going to have an empty void idle. There's nothing goes on here. I'm going to make that capital S. State equals idle. Like that. And then I'm going to have void move to towards path. How about just say make it exiting, and then I'll have another transform. These need to be public. And then I need a private current just destination. How about that? Equals. I need to decide to transform. Destination equals path1. Let's make this a vector 2. And then this can be path1 dot position. And then I say state equals exiting. And then I have to call state. And part of me expected that to turn yellow. Okay, so on exiting, I need to know when she gets to path 2, and I need to know that it's path 2. So this is going to be a list, and I knew that was going to happen. Using system collections.generic. A list of transforms. Transform. Nice. Holy crap. Path. Has to be a new list or I can't see it. And then this is path 0 dot position. There we go. It's kind of frustrating when it adds random using. Yeah, and there was something I read that I could do in Unity forums because they were upset that that does that. Only when you're using it with Unity, I guess. So vector 2 has to be a vector 3. I don't need that anymore either. I can do a private int destination equals 0, like that. Vector 3 D. I can't say destination. Next point equals path destination. Let's hold on to that. Hold on to that thought. I need current position equals transform.position, and then transform dot. I don't need any of that. transform.position equals vector 3 dot move towards transform.position target. That's going to be path destination, that's the index position, and max delta distance, and this is she's gonna run like 5, and then if transform.position, let's do vector 3 dot distance, vector 3 dot distance between transform.position and the destination position is, yeah, like 0.2, like we're close enough. Then destination plus plus. I should probably just change this to index. Path index. Where's rename? Path index. That makes more sense. Oops, I hit escape instead of enter. If path index is greater than path.count. So 0 and 0, if I plus plus is 1, path count is 1 if it's greater. Yeah. I think that's right. Then Mina is going to do a thing. She's going to set my flag to 1. Environment dot. Oh, am I allowed to? Are we allowed to set flags? Are we allowed to set a character in a text this way? Oh, I still need more. Dot carriage. No, I can't do that. The property or index or string this int cannot be assigned to, it is read-only. So, okay. What is the best way? What is in C#? What is the best way to change a single character in a string? An array of characters equals that to string array, then I change it, and then it goes back. Is that what it was? It was just the array.toString. New string. Okay. I had a reason to doubt that. Still doesn't feel right. New string cars. Okay. And then characters environment dot flag location dot carriage equals and then I think I can do this. Oh wait, I can just do this single quote, makes it a character, not a string. Then that's it. I'm gonna destroy the game object then. Destroy Mina. That's cool. Okay. Nice when it gets it right. It is nice when it gets it right. It got it right here. It added my dialogue class because I pasted this that you had the dialogue lines and it just knew where to find that. Okay, that's saved. This thing is a go. Oh wait, real quick. If it's close enough, index plus plus. If it's greater than, we destroy the game object. Okay. I was making sure that it didn't destroy the game object on the first path. So she now needs to know her path. Let's bring this up here to the top. I'll work on turning her to face upwards. I don't think I have a facing upwards sprite of her yet. No, I'll have to make that. So path 1 and then path 2. Okay, so I go here, I talk. We have arrived. This is as far as I go. I don't know why you couldn't wait until morning. She says, Jonathan needs me by his side. I must hurry. And she goes. And then she stops and causes an error. Why? I have a feeling. Nope. Does the carriage care that the object is not the player? No, it does need to be the player. So Mina leaving did not cause that error to happen. I think. Index is out of range. Sending 3 lines to the dialogue system, right? So it does that one, it does this one. The other one doesn't have any lines, but it sends her away. She gets here to the first one, and then there's a bunch of errors. So is it only when she gets there, or does it happen like right away? Let's see. Well, here, let's do this. I won't move her. And we'll see what happens. Mina update is where the error is coming from, not from the dialogue. Oh. Why did it take me? Didn't it take me to the dialogue? Path index is 0 to start with, and when she is told to start moving, I also set it to 0. So the first index is 0. It's not her starting path. It's her destination. And she does move there to that one. And then I say if the distance is different, or I'm sorry, if the distance is less than 0.2, then I move on to the next path. And then if, oh, this should be equals. If path index equals path count, then we're done. So if there were 0, if there was 2 and went 0, 1, 0, then 1 should be done. She gets there, we set it to 2. If it equals, then we're done. Okay. Is that what you were trying to say? It was, wasn't it? Path count -1 that I need to check. Yeah, sorry. Yes, you're absolutely right. Greater than that and -1 or equal to it. However, why does she disappear when she gets to that index? Where is this one at? Oh, duh. Okay. She's gonna go over, then she's gonna go up, and then she's gonna disappear. We have arrived, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and now the fun part. When I talk, it is dangerous to go alone. You should probably go after her. And that's the new thing. Okay, that's what I wanted. I completed what I needed to do. Only 34 minutes longer than I intended. You must exit to save. Okay. Cool. Like I said, if my computer is not in limbo and shows up tomorrow, then I'll probably be working on setting it up. If I go live, you'll know it's probably stolen.
Okay. Until then, thanks.